here's how to sew a zippered pocket. What you'll need is a zipper, fabric for the inside of the pocket, the pattern piece, which you will be adding the pocket to, some scrap material, and basic sewing supplies. Lay out your interior pocket material and cut out an 8 by 24 inch square. Here I am tracing 2 because I'll be adding 2 pockets to my pants. After you have cut out your pocket square, we will be sewing the zipper onto it, but first we must sew on tabs to each end of the zipper. These tabs are for reinforcement, to further keep water from coming into the pocket and make for a clean finish. Take your scrap fabric. I usually cut out a 3-inch strip, which I will also use for making belt loops later on. Cut off 2 pieces from this strip, 1.5 inches wide. Then fold them in half and sew them to the ends of the zipper with the raw edges facing out. Now that you have sewn the zipper tabs on, we will attach the zipper to the pocket lining. Before sewing, we must cut a hole in the fabric for the zipper. Trace a line that matches the length of your zipper. Give 2 inches of space from the top and from the side. I'm using a 9-inch zipper, so I will draw a 9-inch line. At each end of the line, we will now draw a small triangle. Start by marking a 1/2-inch line perpendicular to our original marking at each end. Connect them to meet about a 1/2 inch from the base, which will make a small triangle. Now that we have marked the cutting pattern, we are ready to cut. Cut along the line to make an opening. Then cut down the line, but not all the way through. Stop cutting once you reach the tip of each triangle, and instead cut the 2 sides of each triangle, stopping at the base. After doing so to each side, we are done cutting and almost ready to sew. Lay the pocket square flat. Fold over the flaps like this and pin them in place. I find it easiest to fold this way and place the pins in from the bottom side. You will see why when we take it to the sewing machine. Typically, I will use 2 pins on each side for a 9-inch zipper, although I recommend you use 3 for best results. This is what it should look like after you have put your pins in place. Don't worry about the little triangles, for we will tuck them away when we are sewing. Now we're ready to sew. Before we start, I recommend you switch the general use foot for a zipper foot. This is what a zipper foot looks like for most domestic machines. Most sewing machines come with one, but if you don't have one, you can easily find one online. Take your pocket square and your zipper. Line them up with the zipper pull on the wrong side of the fabric. Flip it so the zipper is upside down into the machine with the fabric on top, like so. I usually like to start at the top corner like this and stitch down the side. I'm using my pointer finger to tuck away that small triangle. Take your time to make sure the zipper is aligned in the middle of the hole horizontally and vertically. I tuck the triangle away and line up the plastic zipper stoppers to be directly beneath the fold. Be very careful that the zipper ends are beneath the fold, because if it is underneath the fabric which you're sewing, you will be sure to break a needle. Be very patient with this step, for preparation is arguably more important than sewing. Ensuring everything is lined up as neatly as possible will yield the best looking and functioning pocket. Once you are content with how everything is lined up, drop the presser foot and begin sewing. Don't forget to backstitch so your stitches don't come out. Pull out the pins as you stitch while using your other finger to keep the fabric folded over. Line up the fold to be about 1/8 of an inch away from the zipper teeth. The key for accuracy here is to take your time. You may have to take it 1 stitch at a time if you are a beginner. Don't stitch unless everything is lined up neatly in front of the needle. Don't worry about anything other than what is directly in front of the needle. Once you get to the zipper pull, you will likely notice that there is not enough room for the presser foot to pass by. Stop sewing, make sure the needle is down, raise the foot, and gently wiggle the zipper pull on by. You may have to finagle it to get it by. Then make sure everything is lined up nicely again, drop the presser foot down, and continue sewing. I find it easiest to tuck the small triangle in about halfway through sewing the zipper, so there's more room for my hands instead of it being trapped beneath the presser foot. When you reach the corner, stop, sink the needle, raise the foot, pivot the fabric, and continue sewing until the next corner. Repeat this for each corner. Always make sure that there is no excess fabric that gets in the line of sewing. Move it to the side and push it behind. You will once again have to stop at the zipper pull and repeat the same as before to get by. When you reach the last side of the zipper, be sure to back tack. I also recommend you to stitch a few extra times at the zipper opening because this area can face a lot of stress after opening the zipper many times. If you have followed instructions properly, this is what your pocket should look like so far. Don't worry if the top side looks a little sloppy. Most of it will be covered up when we attach the pocket to the pants. This side will be the inside of your pocket. Finally, we're almost done. Now we will attach the pocket to the actual pant panel. We will do so by repeating the same exact steps as before, this time just sewing the other side of the zipper. Draw a 9-inch line with a 1/2 inch triangles at each end, cut it out, pin it back, and then we are ready to sew. Now take your pocket, with the zipper facing up, not down, and line up the pant panel with the cut out hole on top of the pocket. Okay, everything is lined up. Make sure there is no fabric caught underneath, which should not be sewn. Now we will sew around the zipper exactly like before. Take your time, try to be as precise as possible, and keep everything neat. When sewing, be sure to periodically check underneath the fabric to ensure you're not sewing anything extra. Sometimes the fabric can get caught or bunched underneath in front of the needle. Let me tell you, this can create a big problem and potentially even ruin your project. After sewing, this is what your pocket should look like. However, don't worry if your first few pockets don't look this clean, for it is something that will only get better with practice. It took me several repetitions before I was able to sew something as neat as this. Here's what the back should look like, and now we are ready for the last step. We are going to fold the pocket lining over the zipper on the back side, and this will create an enclosed pocket. All that we have left to do is sew these edges together. And bonus, for best results, we will sew a basting stitch around the outside edges so that everything stays together nicely when we are sewing the rest of the pant. Match up the folded fabric and start with a back stitch, of course, then stitch down the entire length of the pocket until you reach the fold. I usually give about a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. Finally, finish up those raw edges with a zigzag or overlock stitch to prevent the material from fraying and ensure your pocket lasts as long as possible. Congratulations, you have now sewn a zipper pocket.